Rumors are pointing to Xbox making a Bethesda-level acquisition in the near future, and is Xbox planning on licensing more Lucasfilm's properties for future games? There's a lot here to talk about, so let's get into it. What is going on, everybody? It's Randall19, the man with the million, back again with another video. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day, and if you guys can do me a huge favor, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Thank you guys for all the support. So in this video, we have two different topics to discuss. One of them being the rumors surrounding Lucasfilm Games and Xbox. We know that Machine Games is working on an Indiana Jones title, probably set to release in 2024 or 2025 after they put out Wolfenstein 3. However, there's been some speculation that Microsoft is taking a deeper look at the vault of Lucasfilm Games, and potentially they could be licensing more than just Indiana Jones. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But the big topic of the video is Xbox is rumored once again to be making another acquisition, this time on the level of Bethesda, and maybe not an individual studio like Obsidian or Ninja Theory. So this article from Game Rant says, from the sounds of recent rumors, Microsoft isn't satisfied with just having Bethesda. Apparently, the corporation is looking to add more big-name video game developers to its roster. Exactly what companies Microsoft could be interested in remains a mystery, and there's nothing in recent grapevines suggesting developers are looking to sell. Even if there would be rumors like this one, and would also need to be taken with a grain of salt. So yes, take everything here with a grain of salt. But when the article says there's nothing in recent grapevines suggesting developers are looking to sell, that isn't true. Personally, I've heard of quite a few developers and some publishers that are definitely looking to sell. It is a seller's market, as I've explained in a past video. Now is the time to sell your company because everybody is looking to get into the video game industry, which showed its resiliency during the pandemic. So there are definitely developers out there that want to sell, but the question is Microsoft, is Tencent, is PlayStation, is Amazon or Google interested in buying those studios or publishers? That said, the current rumor does have some credibility, as industry insiders Xbox Ragna backed it. Ragna claimed Microsoft was about to purchase a very big gaming studio 3 weeks before Microsoft announced its Bethesda acquisition deal. When this new rumor surfaced from the gaming forum Xbox Era, Ragna agreed with the individual sharing it. He claims he doesn't know who the individual is, but he's been hearing the same thing for months and thinks Microsoft will announce the purchase around the end of this year or sometime early next year. However, even without Ragna's affirmation, it's not hard to believe that Microsoft is preparing to buy more gaming studios. As big as it is, if Microsoft is going shopping, it doesn't make sense for it to stop at one developer. With that in mind, Microsoft's profits rose dramatically after the release of Series X and Series S. It made enough to buy Bethesda twice over, so it has money to blow. So the source for all this is basically this Twitter post that encapsulated a discussion on the Xbox Era forum. Someone tweeted out, according to an insider, Microsoft will be acquiring studios on the same sort of caliber of Bethesda this year. Sounds like a few people might be upset this year. And you can see over here in Xbox Era, someone said, so mega increases in Xbox revenue, acquisitions inbound. And they say, I think you'll find in the coming months that a number of acquisitions are inbound that have been in the works for a while now, at least if the rumors I'm hearing are true. And someone asked, on a scale of 1 Bethesda, what size are you hearing? And he responds with, all I know is that the same gaming media that likes to cry consolidation of the industry will likely have some issues over the next year. To this, King Ragnar responded, I don't know who this guy is, but I've been hearing the same thing for months, that Microsoft wants to acquire another publisher. Negotiations with Bethesda lasted 3 years, although they really didn't last 3 years. Even though Microsoft was talking to Bethesda since 2017, the actual serious negotiations took far less than 3 years. It even took less than 2 months. He goes on to say, as I've been pointing out, I believe the announcement will be at the end of 2021 or the beginning of 2022. And adding even more fuel to the fire, Brad Sams, who said last week that he personally knows of 3 target acquisitions that Microsoft, Google, and Amazon are chasing after, and they could be big name studios or publishers. He retweeted this Game Rant article and basically used a smirking emoji to signify that, you know, I've been saying this for a little bit. There are some talks going on right now. A big time tech company is going to buy a publisher sooner rather than later. Now, I don't know who this King Ragnar person is. I don't know if he's been right in the past and if he's been wrong, or if he truly is an insider that knew about the Bethesda acquisition before it was announced. But I will say personally, I've heard some stuff behind the scenes that basically does corroborate some of this, that Microsoft is looking for more studios. And you know what? It shouldn't be a surprise to anybody when you have Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, and Phil Spencer talking about their desire to add more teams inorganically wherever it makes sense. Well, now we have to discuss the targets, and I know a lot of people, especially on the forums I read, immediately went to, oh my god, Xbox might be buying EA, Xbox might be buying Take-Two, Xbox might be buying Activision. And while all those publishers have some great IP, Activision with Call of Duty and the entire Blizzard portfolio, Take-Two having ownership of the biggest franchise in the entire world, Grand Theft Auto, and then EA, the FIFA series, the Madden series, Battlefield, and all that stuff, which would be great for Game Pass. Those companies are just way too expensive. Although I do expect somebody else to come in and bid for Take-Two, probably Tencent, as they are really gearing up for acquisitions. They've made some minority stakes in companies like Dotnod and Clay Studios. So personally, I think those 2 studios are pretty much off the table. Even though Microsoft probably does have a game plan where they could buy them, I think realistically, those are out of touch. So then you look at some of the smaller publishers that are on the Bethesda level. Remember, Bethesda was bought for $7.5 billion. EA is worth $48 billion, or roughly thereabouts. Definitely not comparable whatsoever. But when you get down to some of the other publishers, things like WB Games, which Microsoft was interested in last summer, with the suggested price of $4 billion, definitely would be a Bethesda level acquisition. And then you have other publishers that are a little bit more expensive, like Ubisoft, and I think they have a great stable IP that anybody would want to keep exclusive to your platform. And then if you look at Japanese publishers like Capcom and Sega, it gets a little bit more interesting with the recent news with what is happening with Sega splitting its businesses. And now that they've split out their pachinko business and their console business as separate, somebody could come in and essentially buy Sega's console business. Would Microsoft be interested in it? All I know is that every single year there's rumors surrounding Xbox buying Sega. But according to this rumor, it's a Bethesda level acquisition, and Sega would be around that level. Although personally, I don't really think Sega offers much, but that is just me. But then you even have some smaller publishers like Paradox Interactive and Gearbox that might be looking to sell because the market is pretty high right now. It's like what I've been saying for a long time now. Expect more Xbox acquisitions in the future, whether or not it's this year 2021 or next year 2022. Just remember that Xbox is constantly looking, and these things are extremely complicated. It takes time to get all parties to come to an agreement, have an offer and a counter offer, and somebody could agree with everything up until the final moment, and then they decide to pull out and the acquisition just doesn't go through. These things are insanely complicated, but judging from the comments of Phil and Satya, they expect to make more acquisitions down the road. So next up, I wanted to talk about this Lucasfilm and Xbox rumor that keeps on going around, and I am a little bit associated with this, so I figured I'd explain what is going on. So it says, as it appeared earlier, therefore, the Xbox has other games not yet announced coming in 2021, as we have already reported based on the testimony of a developer from DICE, but another testimony in this regard also comes from Jez Corden. The Windows Central reporter reported in the course of an episode of the Xbox 2 podcast that he is aware of the fact that at least 2 great games are coming from Xbox in 2021, but still has no precise release date. To these rumors, we can add another one. Special Ed from Xbox Aaron, an insider has proven to be quite reliable in some previous instances, said during an episode of his podcast that Microsoft seems to be in discussion with Lucasfilm Games for something, which apparently would be the Indiana Jones previously announced, but another intellectual property. Therefore, there could be an exclusive agreement between Lucasfilm Games and Microsoft for another title belonging to the LucasArts universe. So I guess I need to explain a little bit what is going on here. A couple weeks ago, Jez Corden said on the Xbox 2 podcast that we do every single Friday or Saturday, depending on whenever we get to it, basically that he knows of 2 titles that Microsoft hasn't announced yet that will be launching in 2021. Now, I've speculated that one of those games might be Forza Horizon 5, but I have no idea what the other could be. Maybe it's Wolfenstein 3, maybe it's something else. But then Special Ed from Xbox Era, who does his own Xbox podcast, was in the chat talking about how Xbox is looking at other IPs from Lucasfilm Games. Then all of a sudden, the rumor turned from Xbox has 2 unannounced games coming this year to Xbox has 2 unannounced Lucasfilm exclusives set to release sometime. And that isn't true whatsoever. At least it's not true when talking about this specific rumor. But it's definitely in the realm of possibility that Microsoft and Lucasfilm Games have explored possibilities of licensing more of their IP for Xbox studios to work on. We do know that somebody is working on a remake or reimagining of the Knights of the Old Republic. Could Microsoft have grabbed the license for that and basically given it to Obsidian or inXile to make? I mean, it's possible, but unlikely. But I will say, I would not be surprised if another Xbox studio does license another Lucasfilm property sometime in the future. I really don't think Machine Games working on Indiana Jones will be the only one. Anyways, guys, that is the video. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Hit that notification bell if you want to be notified immediately whenever I drop a new video like this. Please share this out on social media or tell a friend about the channel. And if you want to take the support for the channel even further, you can always hit the join button where you will get access to channel badges and emotes for the Xbox 2 podcast we do every single Friday with Jez Corden from Windows Central. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to watch the video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video. Later, guys.